celebration.
Good morning, Rotary Club of Centennial.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Let's bring that up. Good morning, Rotary Club of Centennial. Much better. And what would I ask you to do before we get going?
Turn on your cell phone. Oh, no, it's got silence.
Yeah. Sit right there. Our favorite visiting Rotarian is here today, Randy Pye.
And I'm also your greeter today.
Yeah.
Greeting.
Yeah. He was our slacker greeter. He got here a little late. Mr. Livingston, would you like to inspire us this morning?
Mr. President, I will do my best. Good morning. For those of you who have traveled in the Far East, the tuk-tuk is ubiquitous, but usually motorized. This was the only three-wheeled transportation that we saw that was more like the pedicab down at the ball field. But this one caught my eye because it was also the only one that had a Rotary sign on the back, and it says Rotary Club of Chiang Mai. But that's not what I brought. We did a temple crawl through the city for 2 days. And we turned into an alleyway expecting to find, I don't know, the 15th temple, I'm not sure. But instead, we came across the grounds of a small grammar school. And there were at least a dozen signs posted, some into classrooms. You could hear the kids' voices. Some were simply posted on trees as you walk down the little garden path. And I brought you 4 of them. And my favorite.
Aww.
I hope you're inspired.
I, for one, am inspired. Mr. Ober, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I showed Jessica Reagan as Rotary Minute, but I don't see Jessica. Who wants to? Samantha Bro is going to jump up and do an impromptu Rotary Minute.
Good morning. This is actually really good timing because I just spent my weekend in glorious Omaha last weekend for NAYAN, which is the North American Youth Exchange Network. And so I'd just like to see how many people are aware of the youth exchange programs. So a lot, but not all. It's something that is really important, and they've actually created additional programming for people who are not juniors in high school. And so these are exchanges for 18 to 30-year-olds that are like new generations where you can go to a country and job shadow for 3 months. There are touring ones where you can get a group of 12 people and go to, say, 2 locations, and it's usually around 12 days. And then there are other ones that are 4 days. And so these are for adults. Good morning, Roxy. And for me, the way I was aware of Rotary was when I was in college and I worked in the Career Center and worked with study abroad with the scholarships that they offer. It's something that's very coveted when you're trying to study abroad, especially at the college level. But it's something that I think is really important, and really there was a session where they had a gentleman who studied in 1979 in Nebraska. He was from Brazil, and he was on the stage with his son, who just went to study, or had gone to study to Nebraska, and lived with his host brother. And his host brother, he didn't know what he wanted to do. This was in high school. He didn't know what he wanted to do. His host brother was a lawyer, and he had said, I just passed my law exam in Brazil, and now I'm a lawyer. So these are things that really make a difference and are really part of Rotary, and so I really recommend that you find out more about it. NAYAN will be in Denver next year, well, in Westminster. And we got 90 people signed up at the conference for next year. So March 14th to 16th. So
Great.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Peterson for setting up the AV stuff again today. And then Phil, did you do the rest of the setup? Who did that?
I did Paul did all the setup.
Where is Paul? There he is. He's hiding back there. I didn't see him today. So Paul and Phil did set up as usual. Randy Pye did a semi-admiral job of greeting today. A little late, but that's okay. David, awesome inspiration. Much appreciated. I love seeing stuff like that. Mike Ober, thanks for leading the pledge. We do have a legitimate visiting Rotarian today, Ross.
Legitimate?
A legitimate. So Ross, just stand up. We're going to introduce you. I'm not going to have you do your spiel quite yet, but Ross King, who's with the district, we're going to be hearing from Ross a little later about the district celebration. And then we have guests today. Our speakers, Mark Gatto and Brian Upcraft from Ting are here today, and they're back here at this table. And so we'll be hearing from them a little bit later. Birthdays, only one birthday this week. It looks like Joan Hablitzel on the 22nd. Oh. 2 days. Yeah, well, you're lucky they can do flower delivery the same day, so I think you're off the hook. And I don't show any wedding anniversaries for this week at all. So. Pardon? All right. You know, if you want to share with the rest of the class.
I do want to talk about our trip.
Well, we'll get there. Ross, you're on. Go ahead and jump up here and go over the district celebration, formerly known as district conference. Grab a mic.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Good morning, everyone. Morning. Ross King from Denver Southeast Rotary, past president of Denver Southeast Rotary, and past assistant district governor for you folks a long time ago.
Just a long time ago.
A long time ago. That's when we had the, what was that called? The district assembly. We had it here. Things changed. Now the district is called the district celebration. And it is a, whoops, I got to stay here, don't I? Hopefully I'm going to go the right way. So where is it? It's the Denver Tech Center at Hyatt Regency. This year it's going to be different. We're just going to do it for a 24-hour period. It's Saturday from 11 in the morning until Sunday at 11 in the morning. Starts Saturday at 11 a.m. to Sunday at 11 a.m. Yeah, I know. 24 hours. It's a quick, can you guys hear me? Is this all right?
Yes.
24-hour Rotary District Assembly. I mean, not assembly. God, I keep doing that. District celebration. So we're going to have Dan Ritchie as our luncheon keynote speaker and kickoff. We're going to have panel discussions. We're going to have the typical breakout sessions. But this year, there's something different. We're going to have a business expo. So ABBAS is really pushing hard for Rotarians to network and do business with other Rotarians. He feels it's really important that since we're service beyond self, we should be helping each other with our businesses. So he's having a business expo at the district celebration. We're also having a service expo. He changed that. It used to be called the House of Friendship. We're going to have that as well. There we go. Okay, so back one. There we go. So we're going to have some great entertainment. We're having Sam Adams, who's the professional comedian, and he'll be our MC. Dinner, and then 17th Avenue All-Stars, so we have great dancing and fun. And then we're going to have Lieutenant General J. Silverina? Don't know how to say that. Silveria. And then again, we're going to have panel discussions on Sunday. And The main reason I'm here is, one, obviously to remind you of the district celebration on May 19th, but also to promote the Business Expo. We have tables for $250 and we have tables for $450. On your sheet, on the table, you'll see this yellow sheet. I just want you to pass it around. It talks about sponsorships. In addition to that, you can go to our District 5450 website, and you see at the link down there where that gigantic arrow is. It's not actually on the website like that, but you'll click on that link down there to sign up. You can also sign up online to be a sponsor. Is there anybody that would be interested in being a business table sponsor? We have the $250 tables and the $450 tables.
I actually have a question.
Yes.
So I went on the site. I want to purchase a table to help promote an actual project that our club and 3-4 other clubs do together, because we want it to become more of a district project.
Okay.
So if I went online to do that, I don't really care to have a business table for myself for my business, but I'd like us to have a table for the project. Would it be in the same area, or is there a separate area for bringing up big...
Trick question. I would think that would be the old House of Friendship, which is now the Service Expo.
Okay.
But let me get your name and I'll get an answer for you, okay? And Ken, we have a couple people that want some sign-up sheets. Can you raise your hands again if you want to get a sign-up sheet for the Business Expo, a $250 table or a $450 table? Anybody?
They should be on everybody's table.
Well, this is the actual sheet that you can fill out, put your information on.
That's on the table.
They're on there.
No, this one's different. This one says, so that's an overview of all of them. Oh, you put them all up. Boy, Ken's efficient. All right, any other questions? Anybody have any questions?
There's a more expensive one right here, but this is kind of a cheap crowd, so I didn't. I'm not upselling here anybody.
So if you do have any questions, besides, I'll get your answer to you, but we've got John Hughes, Tom Beging, and Kim DaCosta are the ones that are heading up this program. Thank you for your time and appreciate it. It's good to see you all again.
Right. Thanks, Ross.
Not going to happen.
Roxy Hahn, would you like to talk to us about Nepal?
Can you hear me? We can hear you. Great. You all know Carly Werpel, and you know Carly works for Denver CASA. And one of the CASAs that she supervises is going to Nepal, to an orphanage called As Nepal in Kathmandu, Nepal. And this woman has financed her own trip and everything, and she's going to be doing some filming to promote this orphanage and to bring attention to this orphanage. And she's bringing gifts to the children in the orphanage. And to do that, she's asking people to donate items. And Carly reached out to me to see if our club would be interested in donating any items for the trip. So I've got a handout here as a sign-up sheet. I'll be putting one on each table. If people would sign up for one or more of the items. The items she's looking for are deodorant sticks, soccer balls, basketballs, jump ropes, Tupperware containers, shoes, socks, and children's clothing. And one little girl wants a dollhouse, but we're not sure how we're getting a dollhouse in a suitcase unless it's maybe a dollhouse that comes in pieces that can be assembled. So I'll be putting this on the tables, and if you have any questions, just ask me later, and I'll get them to Carly and see if I can get answers for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Roxy. Catherine Henshin, your timing was perfect. Talk to us about State of the City and where we're at.
So I'm really excited to announce that as of yesterday, we've beaten the revenue of last year, which is really amazing. So yay, yay. In addition, and I think Ting Marketing is here today.
Right.
Thank you very much. One of our new sponsors, new premier sponsors, so we appreciate the support. But we do have 4 new sponsors this year. Health One, Sierra Nevada, Ting, and IKEA has come back. So I think Mayor Pico has gotten a lot of great traction with kind of her vision of what she wants to do with State of the City. So we're super, super excited. With that, I think, the volunteers that we need. I think maybe if someone wants to stay after, and if someone, I need maybe one more after, one more before. But you guys, there's plenty of room for Rotarians to show up and have lunch and commingle with all of our supporting sponsors who, for some of these guys, they've been doing this for year over year over year. And again, just a reminder, what this event does is next year, as we think about funding requests and the grants and everything that we want to do, this event is one of our biggest fundraisers of the year to support all of our funding requests. So huge, huge thank you to the team who has worked very hard. Doug, Samantha Rose, Samantha Johnson. Speaking of Samantha Johnson, she got South Metro Fire to buy and be a supporting sponsor. So yay for her. Another new sponsor. We do have a few more tables, so if you have someone, I would love, we're very close to hitting that 40,000 mark and beating that for the first time in our history. So if you guys have a couple sponsors who would buy a table or two, $650. Woo!
Yes.
Thank you. I'll get you the information. But even now, much more closer to beating the 40,000 mark, and we've never done that. So, again, huge thank you to everyone. And Jessica, I'm sorry, I was naming everybody that's been helping out. April 12th, please email me ASAP if you're going to come and eat lunch. And we're excited. Any other questions, thoughts, comments? So, yay.
Great. Thanks, Catherine. So Catherine and I went to the city council meeting last night to officially invite the city council to the State of the City, and I was impressed. There's a high level of enthusiasm amongst the city council and with the new mayor about this event. So going forward, I think this is going to continue to be a signature fundraiser and signature community service project, because it is a service project for the city of Centennial. So great job, everyone, and all the work that you put in. I wanted to fill you guys in a little bit about what happened at our last board meeting. We passed 3 funding requests, which are now going to the foundation board for approval. But the first one is for a water filter prototype to be used on a water project in Puerto Rico. So Mark, do you want to take like one quick minute just to talk about that water filter and what we're trying to do?
I'm working with a group called Project Managers Without Borders. They're a terrific group, and they're very organized, which I'm not, so it's a perfect marriage. Anyway, they found a new way, well, not a new way, it's about 200 years old. It's a biosand filter. It's a method of pouring water through a concrete cylinder filled with sand and gravel. It filters out bacteria and also parasites. The top layer creates it's a special layer that pathogens become very good at eating other pathogens. So they get trapped up there and then they get eaten, and then generations later, they become really good at doing that. About 30 days later, it becomes extremely efficient. And these are very inexpensive to make. The mold is made out of wood, and the inside is concrete is poured in there. So we put together a pilot program. We're going to build one here to make sure it works. Marty Alan, who you all met, he's a microbiologist. He'll be testing the water. We're going to get the water from the Platte River, and we're going to test it. We're going to test it before, and then we're going to test it after. If it's successful, I'm going to take it to Puerto Rico. We'll build one there, and then if that's successful, we'll come back here and we'll mass market it at Tim's shop, and a group of us will go over there and have a boots on the ground project.
Great job, Mark. Just to be perfectly clear, Mark is the one going to be drinking the Platte River water after it comes through the filter. We also passed, while we were down in Mexico, we bought a couple of washing machines for the orphanage in conjunction with the Rotary Club of Westerville, Ohio. Our intent was, if the board didn't approve it, that we were just going to pay for it, but we didn't want to tell anybody that. So anyway, that's been approved. So we're paying for one of the washing machines. And then we passed for the service project on blessing bags. Some of you remember that from what we did with Allosource. But Jessica Seidner, tell us a little bit about blessing bags. She has a prototype.
Good morning, everyone. So how many of you have never seen the blessing bags? I know some of you are guests, so you have to raise your hand. You probably haven't seen them yet. Yes. So this is an awesome project which was started, I believe, last year with our partners at Allosource, and we are continuing it. The purpose behind it is to provide people, who are a little less fortunate, whether they're homeless or whatever their situation is. We see them on the corners all over the place. It's happening here. The homelessness problem is here in the suburbs. So this is a way to serve them kind of at their point of need. So many times they're holding up cardboard signs or they're just asking for money. This is a way we just carry these in our car and then we can give them out at their point of need. So we're really excited about this. Our target distribution to all of you, so you can take a bunch of these and put them in your car, is mid-June. I believe June 19th is a Tuesday. Our goal is to create 400 of these, which is really awesome. Now, with that being said, they probably all won't be distributed at the same time, so we'll have some backup for when you run out. Not if you run out, when you run out. But I think this is a great opportunity for you to get involved in a project that is a little short term, has a very minimal time commitment, but also is serving the community in which we all live, which I think is such a gift to be able to do that. So in here, you're going to find all sorts of things: socks, toothpaste, toothbrush, chapstick, soap, body wash, ponchos, and so forth. These are made to be, they're somewhat seasonal, so these are good for the summer months, and then we're already talking about doing this again for the fall and winter months. And we welcome any participation on the committee. So we have a committee meeting after this meeting, and I always keep it to 30 minutes or less. And we're even already planning a celebration because we know this is going to be a success. So I know this group likes to celebrate. You cannot come to the celebration unless you participate in the committee.
All right, great. Thank you, Jessica. Phil Chaporis, I think you want to talk to us about the Business Minute.
Yeah, most of you know most of you know that I assign people for the responsibilities each week. One of the areas that I have not gotten a lot of response about is the Business Minute. So if you have a business that you want to talk about in a minute or two, then please see me and I will get you assigned at the appropriate time that works for you. Okay? That's the major thing. And then any of you newer members that do need assignments like greeting or inspiration and things like that, if you don't have it to get your blue badge, let me know and I'll get you assigned as soon as possible. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Phil. This is really a good opportunity to let other members of the club know what you do. For a while, Rotary went off on a tangent that you couldn't talk about your business, and I don't think that's right. We've got a lot of entrepreneurs in here, and the way to be strong Rotarian, you've got to have a strong business behind you. So it's not turning Rotary into a leads group, but it is nice to know what other people do so you can do business with them. And I've done business with Barb Medina, Randy Ernest, Tim, quite a few of you guys. So I'd much rather spend my money with other Rotarians than Kiwanis. I mean, I don't want to give any money to Kiwanis at all. Mr. Eunice, talk to us a little bit about the dire need to get going on beer sales.
I will, but first I want to thank Catherine for having such a strong showing this year. It makes my year that much easier. But let's talk about beer sales. So far, nobody has raised their hand to be the champion for the beer sales this year. And now is the time when things really have to start popping. We've got to put in applications for the liquor license. You got to start talking with the brewery. You got to set up all kinds of schedules. We need a champion for the beer sales this year. I did have a little conversation with the man upstairs. He said the weather was going to be good this year. So you don't have to worry about that. So please think about it. Trip Butler will be in charge of fundraising next year on my board. So Trip would be a good guy to coordinate with. But please, we do need a volunteer. I do not yet. I haven't gone online and done all that because I've got a busy year coming up myself. So.
He's got a really busy year. So anyway, think about it. If you've got time, yes, there is a time component to doing this, but we can't do any of these fun service projects without money. And we bring a large amount of our revenue in from these beer sales. So it's very important, and we definitely need the help. Ann West, you had something about chat groups briefly?
Yes. This evening is our chat group. There's only about 6 of us, and we've reserved a room that will easily accommodate 20. So those of my group, please bring your honeys. My husband says, well, I don't chat. Well, I said you can listen. We'll see if he shows up. But please, we're going to be at Hodson's in their wine room. Tonight their special is $4 margaritas and I don't understand this one, $10 mix and match street tacos. So, and for those who are not familiar, Hodson's is in streets of South Glen, sort of kitty corner from the theater. We're going to have a good time. Oh, and it's at 6 o'clock.
Right. Thanks, Ann. Anybody else need to make an announcement real quick that didn't touch base with me? Okay. I wanted to tell you a little bit about one of our millennials, Audra Zippel, who's a great kid. She and her husband, Nate, are both members of our millennial group. Well, this week, Audra is in the finals to be a Denver Bronco cheerleader. So we very may have one of our own on TV frequently this fall. So I just thought I'd pass that along with, and if you have any contact with Audra, congratulate her for what she's doing.
John.
Do we have any travel gifts?
John, I just wanted to remind everybody.
Oh, shh.
Is this on? I just wanted to remind everybody we have Prime Timers Happy Hour tomorrow night at CB and Potts, and that's from 4 to 6. So please join us.
Which CB and Potts? There's a couple of them.
Arapahoe Road. Right
Okay.
off of Arapahoe Road. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Karen. Anything else? Travel gifts. Oh, the luck of the Irish.
I'll take the microphone before somebody shouts at me. Anyway, I just spent a couple of weeks in Florida, and where the weather was kind of cooler, and John already sends his condolences to me because it was cooler in Florida sometimes than it was here in Denver. So I'm glad to be back in Denver, not talking about Sunday evening, of course. Anyway, what I wanted to chase down and see could I find and have a good look at was the manatee. And I did find the manatee in 2 places. And interesting character, a very ugly character if you haven't seen one, but nevertheless interesting. So I figured I'd instead of bringing back a Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, I'd find something on the manatee, but I had trouble all the time finding something. At last minute at the airport, I found this mug. So I'm sure the ugly creature is on it. So I'm sure you have enough of mugs. But anyway, thank you.
Patrick, does the manatee resemble any Rotarians?
I'm not going to go there.
Darn it. Phil, who did you assign Happy Bucks to? I don't recall seeing that.
I think it was Ken Holt.
Well, I didn't know.
All right, Ken, have at it.
I'll start. I have $1 to my friend Ross King. It's always nice to see him. He's Denver Southeast Club. He was the district governor, kind of, when I was president. One thing further on the Business Expo, there's only 30 spots. So it's going to be pretty selective. So if you're going to reserve, you need to get reserved right away. All right. That's my $1. What do you got here, Ross?
I'd like to donate $1 to this wonderful club. I love coming here, and you guys are great. Thank you for everything you do.
Tripper. Come on.
Oh.
You know. Oh, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. Stand up, Greg. Stand up.
Wait.
Hey.
All right.
Man.
Yeah, the jaws of life have opened up my billfold. It's, but I was reading our program, and I see in a couple weeks we have a program with the Freedom Service Dogs, right? Yep. And that should be kind of interesting, and it might remind us how animals, you know, have contributed to sometimes the benefit of our lives and so forth. And it reminded me of a story that I'll tell real quick about mules and how mules during World War were a big help in carrying supplies and things like that. But a gal was reminiscing about the mules, and she remembered that when she was young that her father always belittled her and said she was stubborn as a mule and was very unkind to her and so forth. And so finally she looked up the definition of a mule in the dictionary. And it said that a mule is a cross between a horse, has a horse for a mother and a jackass for a father. And he never called her stubborn as a mule again.
Kevin, are you a happy buck today? No, Kevin. Okay, all right. Randy.
I've got 5. One is to having Ting here and my next door neighbor, or 2 houses down, and my former council member. I appreciate Mark being here. The other is to my wife, who is running for the South Suburban Board of Directors. So anybody in South Suburban, this is a political announcement. Yeah, I know. May 8th, be sure to vote. It's a polling. You have to go to the polls or request a ballot. The other is my apology to Phil for missing the greeting, but I thought I actually did a great job. I got everybody. So it's okay. It is. And one for Ross for being here. It's good to see you, Ross. And the last one is for Jessica taking on the blessing bags, because I think the blessing bags is one of the best things we've ever done. I really do. It's amazing the one-on-one you get with somebody, and the reaction that you get when you give them that. So, good job.
Well, with that, do you have $1, Jessica? Come on. Well,
we take 5s.
Oh, you give them? All right. Thank you.
I have to think of 5 things to be happy for. 1, I'm so thankful for this club, and I also am so excited about this this project. 2, I don't know, driving over to the meeting this morning, did you all notice how beautiful the mountains are and the sunrise? So that's my second one. 3, I'm just happy to be healthy in here. 4, and 5, I don't know. I'll have to think about those later. I'm just glad to be here. So thank you so much.
Just happy to be a member of this club.
All right, so are we.
Happy first day of spring.
Yes.
Mr. Mark.
Oh, I'm happy to be a member.
Thank you. I give you all this time to dig. What do you got down there? Oh, we did. All right, I'll give you. I'll bring you 15 bucks. How's that? David.
Well, I'm happy I was sitting next to Mark, which gave me time to reach in my pocket and get this $1.
Santa.
Well, about 2 years ago, I joined this club, and our then president, Mr. Pai, said, "Technical, this guy can do this." And then he said, "Could we get microphones, like, and so people could hear?" And I said, "Sure, we can do that." And then later he said, "Could we get a microphone at every table?" And I said, yeah, we can do that. And now I'm so proud of you guys because I don't have to yell at you because when you don't pick up a microphone, somebody else does it for me.
Roxy Hahn. Oh, all right, I'll go to Samantha Rowe here.
Hi, my dollar is for Roxy Hahn because I'm very thankful to her for getting me involved in all of the study abroad stuff because it's something that I did a long time ago and it's nice to kind of bring it back and have some use for it. And I'm also now the country contact for Czech Republic and Slovakia, so hopefully I won't ruin that.
All right, are you ready, Roxy?
Yes. I have 5. And my happy buck is, first of all, Samantha was an awesome roommate, put up with me, and we had a really fun time. Yes, very interesting in some days. But we manned a booth, and we're like, she's like a siren call for all these people to come to our booth, just so you know. And we had a goal of getting 75 people pre-registered, and we had, they got a discount for pre-registering, and then they went into a drawing to get 3 nights at the hotel free. So it worked really, really well, and then they had a real fun drawing of everybody really excited of who was going to get the hotel rooms. So like she said, we ended up with 90 people, which is a really good start to our goal of 500 people attending the conference. And it's people from all over the world. I think we had 26 countries represented. So it was just a really wonderful experience in meeting our counterparts in other countries of people I've talked to via email to finally get to meet in person. And also, my next one is for the Nepal gift giving that I just talked about. First of all, if you could bring your gifts next Tuesday, the 27th, and on the basketballs and the soccer balls, they need to be deflated. Yes, and if you could include like a pump to pump them back up. Maybe a pump for all the balls you give, or we need to have that would be helpful to get them there with a pump. So and needle. Gosh, what I don't know about basketballs. Anyway, also this weekend was my daughter's 30th birthday. And anyway, I did a surprise mystery party for her, and it was successful. It was a surprise and really, really fun mystery. And my last $2 are for our board and you all for approving the blessing bags and the lavadoros from Mexico. Thank you.
How's your mom? Your Donna doing okay? No dollar for Donna?
Well, she got lost on the way here last time, so she's challenged.
Okay, good. I know Donna. So, was there a race Sunday?
There was. I had a very good Sunday, but first started out with the NCAA tournament, which I don't really follow college basketball that much. Yeah. But my nephew moved to New York last summer to become one of the assistant athletics directors of Syracuse. So Syracuse is in the tournament, so of course I'm watching the games for Syracuse. And Syracuse beat Michigan State on Sunday, and they weren't expected to, so that started out very well. And then, of course, there was a race, NASCAR race. I never tell you guys about that, but our team, Furniture Row Racing, Martin Truex Jr., they won. They dominated the race. He was on the pole. He won both stages. And he won the race by like 11 seconds or something. So he pretty much dominated. So that's his first win of the year.
Thank you. Jay.
All right. Happy Tuesday.
Thank you. Mr. Shattuck, you have $1? Okay, all right. The Sing.
First off, here's a check for Trilogy sponsoring that table. Oh. Do Trilogy and not Zing. Make sure it's Trilogy, not me. Oh. Okay. State of the city. Yeah. Okay. So, right. Why did I do that? First off, I want everybody to know that my company is the premier top sponsor for the Cherry Creek Sneak. So what that means is we're going to get a ton of tickets. So if you like to register and participate in the Cherry Creek Sneak, let me know, and I might be able to get you a discounted registration. So that's number one. Number two, my daughter gets her braces off today. Yeah. It's just the rule is please wear the retainer afterwards or we're going to go all the way back to the beginning. It's just so incredibly expensive. It's painful. And number three, my next door neighbor constantly every year blows all of his leaves onto our yard. And I'm like, dude, really? Oh, that's okay, fine, whatever. Well, my son gathered up all his leaves, put them in a bag, put them on the front door with a note saying, I'm happy to just pick up your leaves so that you don't have to blow them into our yard. That was so passive aggressive. It was terrible. But it dawned on him, oh wait, I can actually make money picking up people's leaves. I'm like, yeah, you could. So that's awesome. I wanted certified mediator. No, he's just, my neighbor's really awful, and we have been killing him with kindness for years. And so now he's embarrassed to be awful. It's all good. I want to thank our guests. Thanks for coming. Come again and again. We have so many awesome projects that so many people work on, and this is just a really great club, and I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Catherine.
Okay, so I have 5. One just came to mind. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome to see Andres versus Karen, Syracuse versus Duke. I'm going to bet on Karen. I think she can take you, just saying. I think she could take you. Second is a little bit of luck of the Irish. I've had a kind of a lot going on in my world, and when you have a lot going on in your world, you kind of forget things. And Saturday I was cleaning my house, paying bills, doing all these things, and all of a sudden I looked for a check that I was supposed to pay the bill, and I couldn't find it. And then I started looking for my checkbook, and I couldn't find it. And then I just got paid a bonus from my old company, which comes in a paper check, and I couldn't find that either. So I started going through my house, and I had thrown it all away. Thank God I have my own trash, and I went dumpster diving and got it all back. So yay for that. Goodness gracious. Again, a huge thank you to everybody in advance of the State of the City for your participation and for those who've been on the committee. It's been awesome. If you want to know one of the things that we spend our money on, I just want to also give a huge shout out for John McCarty, who has pushed to get the wells in Madagascar. It's never easy to do business in a third world country, for sure. He is persistent, and we're almost across that finish line where we're going to get our international grant. And last but not least is for the blessing bags. Randy, you're very correct. Part of the reason that homeless people tend to have mental illness is because people don't talk to them and they don't look at them in the eye. And when you can give them a bag and actually look at and give them the dignity of looking someone in the eye, it does a wonder. So thank you for that.
Thank you. John Wexler, you got 3 seconds.
It's good to be back.
Have we noticed a gender difference here? All right. Of course, Andres is going to correct me here.
I will. 5. My boss, who is also a Mexican, says that the definition of infinity is when you give the mic to a Mexican. So, I have 5. The first one is for our guests. Ross, it's always great to see you. Thanks for coming. You and I were learning at the same time when you were doing the assistant governor thing, so that's awesome. Awesome to see you. And the guys from Ting, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Catherine, State of our City, awesome job. It's a great project for the new members that haven't had a chance to be part of that. Definitely don't miss it. It's really the highlight of the year. And John, it's all downhill after that. So
please, I hope so.
The next one is obviously Duke is in the NCAA tournament. And I had the opportunity. Yeah, some of those little teams like UNC are out of the tournament. So I'm always happy when Duke wins, and I'm happy when North Carolina loses. So double whammy. Yeah, exactly. But we had a chance to go, Andres, my son, and I, to Duke, and we actually went to a game, Duke versus the Qs. It was an awesome game. The atmosphere inside Cameron is always a blast. So we'll see. We should make it interesting, Karen. Number 4 is I'm not going to be here next week again, but this time is because we're going on a Disney cruise, which Anne organized for us. So looking forward to it. And whoever said about business in Rotary, definitely true. Every time you can do business with somebody in Rotary, it's a lot easier. You at least know you're not going to get scammed or something like that. And lastly, it's Tuesday, and it's great to be here.
All right, thank you. Timmy.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that works behind the scenes. Unless you've really gotten involved in certain things in the club, you don't understand how much time and how many things go on outside this meeting. So thank you, everybody.
Phil.
Just $1, and thanking Ken Hope for stepping up because I screwed up and didn't assign anyone for Happy Bucks.
Michael.
After hearing about Diane's neighbor, I'm so glad John Peterson's my neighbor. And he also introduced me to Rotary, so thank you, John.
Randy, you got any money today? No money. All right. Bruce.
I'm just happy to witness Phil, Greg, and Jay give a Happy Buck all on the same day. Woo!
Patrick.
I could easily balance this gender thing up, really, if you want me to sing. I can sing a couple Irish songs for you guys. Anyway, my buck is for the microphone technician over there.
Yeah, but you got any money today? No? All right. All right, we'll let you go. All right. Charlie.
Hello. This is just to wish us all a happy day.
All right. Mary Alice.
This is to exemplify the gender difference. Go K-State. They're still in this tourney, too.
All right. Annie.
This is because it snowed. We looked out on Sunday night, and we were expecting rain. You know, it was over 30, and the snow was beautiful.
It was. Judy.
This is thank you to the gentlemen here on my left that are going to tell you about Ting in a few minutes. And I forgot to say, my chat group met recently. We had 4 of us, and all the girls that were in the group, they were all sick. But thanks to Phil was there, and Tim, and who was our 4th one? Alan Jackson. So we had a great time.
You guys happy today, or we're just going to let you slide? I guess we'll let you slide.
Don't be beating up the speakers.
All right, anybody else? All right. Mr. President.
So I've got 2. The first is for, I've got a mic.
Oh, I guess you do.
The first is for the State of the City Committee. They put in an incredible amount of work on this, and I'm sure the event is going to be outstanding. And then the second is for my lovely wife, Miss Mild-Mannered Karen. You should see her when her boy wins NASCAR. She's up, jumping up and down, scares the hell out of the cats too. But it's really Dale. Yeah, we renamed one of the cats Dale. So anyway, with that, Jeannie Henshin, would you like to introduce our speakers? Speaker.
I'd be delighted to do that. And I think you're lucky in Centennial that you're going to get Ting in here. I'm going to introduce Mark Gatto, and his helper is Byron. Mark was born in a small town in Iowa. He moved to Denver in 1998. His background is in telecom industry, and he started as an intern at MCI. Moved up to be center director. From there, he worked for an outsourcing company called RMH, where he was vice president of international sales. He moved over to the TV provider company Dish, and his last position was vice president of operations. In 2011, he resigned from the telecom world to be a stay-at-home dad. He continued consulting on the side, but dedicated his time to raising his son Hayden and his daughter Grace. During that time, he ran for city council in Centennial. He has lived here for over 6 years and wanted to make a difference in this community. He won and served a 4-year term as a councilman and learned about the city's neighborhoods and infrastructure. He influenced decisions on increasing money for infrastructure, balancing budgets, and maintaining open space. Centennial is now an important part of his life, and he's passionate about ensuring the quality of life for the neighborhoods. His hobbies include running, biking, sports, concerts, politics, and snowshoeing. So please welcome Mark Ting. Mark Gatto.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate this. In the bio, it said that I was a former city councilman, and so I'm really excited to be here. So the city worked a lot with the Rotary Club, and we did events together. They stayed the city together. Please find a beer person for the events, okay? That was very, very important to our city event. But it's an honor to speak here. I really respect this organization, and thank you so much for having me. I have a few objectives today. First, I want to make sure I let you know what Ting is and what we do is going to probably be the biggest part of the presentation because we are new to Centennial, and we're going to try and build a fiber network. And so I want to talk a little bit more in detail about that. But before I do that, I wanted to back up a little bit because I wanted to give you some history how Ting and the city began their public-private partnership. And I think we're going to have some slides here soon. Okay. Oh, should have done that first. Sorry, everybody.
While we're waiting, let's just say thanks to having John Peterson here. This magical stuff.
Sorry about that. I probably should have done that first. But I did want to back up and talk about the relationship between the city and Ting because I think it's important to have that history. So when I talk about what we do and our objectives, it kind of all kind of come together. So about, I guess, a little over 3 years now, the city of Centennial approved a $5 million budget to build a fiber ring around the city of Centennial. Okay? Basically, it's a central ring with an east and a west ring connected, but yet primarily it's one big ring around the city. The reason that the city wanted to do that was kind of twofold. The first is to see if they could help out our anchor institutions. With the city's anchor institutions are the fire district, the library district, the sheriff's department, and see if there's some efficiencies that could be run out of there due to faster speeds and higher bandwidths. So that was the first objective. The second is they wanted to lease that fiber off the ring to private companies. So these private companies can then take the fiber from the ring and for that last mile get it to the home so that private company can provide 1 gigabit service to the home, which is incredibly fast speeds, incredibly fast bandwidths. So that brings Ting. Ting was the first company and right now the only company to take advantage of leasing that fiber from the city. So it's been a really strong partnership, public-private partnership. And so what I'm going to do is kind of talk about what Ting does and kind of our goals. So that's the history and how Ting got here. Okay. One more, please. All right, so now we're caught. So let me tell you a little bit about Two Cows. Two Cows is a company based out of Toronto, Canada, and it's a domain register company. So a little known fact, it's the second largest domain company in the world next to GoDaddy, yeah. So, and so Two Cows wanted to venture out. They wanted to get in, to use their expertise in technology, their expertise in customer experience, and branch out into two technologies they feel are very important to day-to-day life, and that is the phone and the internet. So now Two Cows has a company called Ting Mobile and a company called Ting Internet, and that's the company that Brian and I are a part of. Okay, so if you look at the emblem there, the two cows, also a little known fact that wasn't in my bio, is anybody remember the company Gateway Computers? Yeah. So I used to work for Gateway Computers for a couple years. So their emblem is also a cow. I'm from rural Iowa, so for some reason, this cow keeps following me around. So, but yet, so I wanted, and one thing I want to talk about is, and it'll be a theme throughout this conversation, is I really believe in working for them, and it's only been a couple months, but Two Cows, along with Ting, is a very customer-focused company. And they really believe in customer service. And I'll touch on that throughout the slides. And some examples of that is Two Cows and Ting just don't want to be a presence in the community. We want to be a part of the community. Again, examples of that is when we're constructing in a neighborhood, 2 months after that, we do events in the neighborhood. We do food trucks, we do face painting for the kids, balloons for the kids. We do a lot to make sure that the people know that, yes, we're coming into your community to offer a great service, but we want to be a part of that community. And we want to answer any questions that you have about the product. And so we'll bring our construction guys and show them what the fiber looks like. We'll do a lot of events like that. We'll sponsor events on National Night Out, which is August 7th. We're going to spread ourselves thin, but we're going to try to get across the city as much as we can and sponsor ice cream trucks and all that just to show that we really want to be a part of this community. And again, the state of the city, we're a premier sponsor, so we're excited about that. So everything we do, once we start constructing, once we start introducing our product, we want to get into these neighborhoods and really be a part of it and answer any questions that they have. So Centennial is our 5th Ting City, so we're excited about that. So why fiber? I just want to touch briefly because the city believes this, and also obviously our company believes this, that there are some huge benefits for building a fiber infrastructure. One is, and in researching this, I think it's going to go higher, but right now if you research it, there are home values and neighborhood values that are going up over 3% just because there's a Ting infrastructure in place. People want to live where they can get these fast speeds and higher bandwidth. It's also retaining and attracting new businesses. The city strongly believes that businesses are going where these speeds and these bandwidths are, and they're staying where there's a fiber infrastructure. And Brian is our salesperson in Idaho and Colorado. And he is, his whole sales pitch is these bandwidths and these speeds, and these businesses are listening because that technology is changing so much day to day that you're going to need these bandwidths in the future, and that's what a fiber network can provide. And also, it reduced costs and efficiencies. I mean, the reason the city started this venture is because they wanted to, their whole street lights, or I'm sorry, their stoplights are provided by fiber. And it just keeps them up and running more efficiently. If they go down, that's a lot of cost and obviously very inefficient for traffic. Medical companies that are downloading large files can do it much more quickly. That improves efficiencies and cost. So it really is an efficiency cost asset to build a fiber network. And so this is Ting's angle. So how many in here are part of, or at least have a large family living in there? And when I say large, 4 plus, 4 or 5 or more living in your household today. So we still have a few. So this is where Ting comes into play. Teenagers. Absolutely. Teenagers count as double, so you have a family of 8. Exactly. So what we're doing is as you found, when you have more than 2, more than 3 people working on the internet or downloading files or gaming or streaming at the same time, it's extremely difficult. And so what Ting is going to offer, again, with the fiber network and these bandwidths, you'll be able to do that with no buffering and no efficiency lost. So that's our goal. We want to get into these houses and show that these incredible speeds will provide the family the ability to do all this simultaneously without losing connection, without buffering, etc. Okay? And so obviously this isn't a sales pitch, but to understand Ting, I really want to go into the product and what we're offering and show how we're a little bit different than our competitors. And our competitors, once we come into the city of Centennial, is going to be CenturyLink and Comcast. So those are the two companies that we'll be competing mostly with when it comes to our internet services. But we are going to offer a gigabit to the house. That is so it's 1,000 up and 1,000 down for your download and upload speeds. But you do lose a little bit within the router. But we're in the other markets, you're looking at on an average of 960 to 970 upload speeds and download speeds. And the most that I've seen around Centennial through, and I believe it was Comcast, was getting some people 250 up and down. And that's extremely fast and extremely rare. And we're offering 4 times that. So again, you can just see the benefits of having that type of bandwidth and speeds. And there will be no data caps or contracts. And again, the theme throughout this is going to be that we really believe, and I believe, that Ting and Two Cows is a customer experience-oriented company. And we feel that if you sign up for this product, we're not going to need to hold you to a contract. We're not going to need to hold you to data caps. It's something that you're going to want to stick with for a long, long, long time. Again, I talked about the speeds, and we're hoping to have a TV product by the end of December in our other markets in Centennial. I'm not 100% sure yet when that will happen, but we're working on it. And that's simply going to be, if you have your own antenna, we'll have about 7 channels that you can have. And those 7 channels we're looking at offering for free. But yet there's going to be a few other packages, but it will not be the TV product that a Comcast or a CenturyLink can offer. It's just something that if you're not a huge TV user and you want that bundle opportunity, you'll have that opportunity. But again, with these speeds, they call it the buzzword is cut the cord. I think they'll have a great opportunity to do that with the Ting product because the streaming and all that will be so seamless. And so this is what we're offering. Again, just showing what the Ting product is going to look like. It'll be $89 a month for residential, $139 a month for business. The router is $200, but if you want to lease the router, it'll be $9 a month, so that $89 and $139 will go up the $9. Or you can use your own router. We have field people go out and we make sure that it's compatible. But if you want to use your own router that is compatible, then use your own router and you won't pay the leasing fee or the fee for the router.
Can I have one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
Just real quick, we do have one other package.
We're going to get you a microphone here quick. See, I'm learning fast, huh?
I just wanted to mention one other thing. We do have one other package above this, and it's an enterprise package for any of the larger companies in Centennial. It is a dedicated service, so it's the guaranteed bandwidth, it's the guaranteed response times, up times, everything like that from an enterprise level. So it doesn't show on this slide, but I just wanted to mention that for anybody that does business with some of the larger companies in town. Well, a T1 is 1.5 megabits, and this is 1,000. So it's not quite like a T1. But conceptually, yes, with the guarantees and everything, yes.
I told you this wasn't a sales meeting, man. I brought a sales guy to the meeting, so sorry about that. Thanks, Brian. Yeah. And so, again, to keep going on the theme of customer satisfaction and customer experience, is anybody familiar with businesses that get rated on a Net Promoter Score? Is anybody familiar with that? So a few of you, just really generally what it is, and I can go into more detail if you would like. But in general, it's how many people recommend the product to somebody else. So it's a survey-based, would you recommend the product to someone else? And again, we're in our infancy stage, so I don't want to, these numbers could very well change. But right now, we're off to an amazing start, where these types of numbers of an 80 and 82 Net Promoter Scores is unheard of in the industry. That just basically means that a majority of people that are being surveyed about their product would recommend it to somebody else. And not to pick on a Comcast, but their internet product is in the negative, which means more people would not recommend the product than would recommend the product. And you can see our numbers are off to a good start. And again, it can change as we get bigger and we have more customers. But right now, if you call in, you get a live agent. Okay. And right now there's no IVR. And again, anyone that knows the call center business, a lot of this could change as we get more customers. But you go right to a live agent as soon as you call, and they're there to help you. And then also you have people on site in the city. Again, we want to be a part of the community. So myself as a city manager hand out a ton of business cards. And if there is problems with the service, you can even go directly to myself. If I can't answer the questions for you, I'll make sure I get you to the right people. But again, the reason we have no contracts is we really feel that the product is going to be long-standing. So now let's go into how we're building this infrastructure. And this is important because we are doing it very uniquely and different than any other internet TV provider in the city. And that is most of the utilities with TV and internet, Comcast and CenturyLink, will go in through the back and set up the backyards, maybe some back of green belts, and they'll set it up and wire through the back. For Ting and an internet provider, or fiber provider, sorry, that's more difficult to do. There's a lot of landscaping and fences in the backyards. So we are going through the front. And to do that, we have to get right-of-way permits from the city. And the right-of-way, for a right-of-way, utility right-of-way in the city is from the sidewalk, so your sidewalk, or actually, I'm sorry, from the curb to the sidewalk, and then you actually have from the sidewalk about 2, sometimes 6 feet in towards your yard, there's city right-of-way for utilities. And that's where we're constructing with Ting. So what we do is we come in, we build, we take the fiber from the fiber ring or a central office, we get that to a small or large cabinet depending what we need and how large the neighborhood is, and then we blow that fiber to the curb, and then we put if you go to the next one real quick, Brian, I may have you switch back and forth here, if you don't mind. And then when we're done installing and getting the fiber to your curb, that's what the plate is going to look like. The small handhole is 90% of what will be on the curb and in right away, sometimes even into the corner of your yard. But that's what a small handhole will look like. The large handholes are, not to get too technical, but when we have to split the fiber, it's a splitter cover. And so you will see some larger handholes out there, but mostly it's the small handholes. So right now we're in 5 neighborhoods in Centennial. So we're in Walnut Hills, Hunters Hill, and then all the Willow Creeks. Okay. So Willow Creek 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So right now we're constructing, and we're trying to, this is so unique and new to the citizens. My role is getting out in front of this in the newsletters that they provide, or the neighborhood newsletters. I've worked with the management companies in these HOAs to get the information out via their email blast list, because it is just a different and unique way of doing business. But again, the goal is to build this fiber network and be able to get these speeds and be able to improve these home values throughout the neighborhoods. And then when we install it to the house, as you can see, that machine there will dig about a 2 to 6 inch kind of line down your yard just so we can run the fiber up to the side of the house. And this is kind of an older house. A lot of Centennial neighbors don't have this cladding, but we'll run it through garages and we'll hide it the very best we can to make sure that you don't even see it. But that's kind of the construction piece. I wanted to make sure I talked about that because it is unique to the other providers. So I do want to thank you again. I respect the Rotary Club so much. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to continue to work with you on the state of the city, which we're excited about. I have a whole bunch of business cards if you have any questions, or and I will maybe have time for a few here. But if you have any additional questions, that's my information. But I'll leave some business cards also. It looks like we do have some questions. But thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time. Yes.
It would be very helpful if you could, and I know that a lot of people have asked you for this, if we could have a map of how your buildup is going to go. I sign up like the $10 like way when you announced that you were coming to the city, but it's getting really frustrating. Basically, I'm paying what you show there on your slide for 20 Mbps.
Yeah.
And I cannot do anything else because I'm waiting for you guys to get to my neighborhood. So it'd be really helpful to know it's going to take 2 years, so yeah, I can get into a contract for 2 years so I can up my speed, or I just hold on tight and don't do anything because you're coming next week.
That's an awesome comment / question. That's great because we don't have a full build-out map yet, and we're working on it. A little bit of that has to do. What neighborhood are you in, if I could ask?
I'm on the east side of Centennial on Pine Creek.
Yeah. So, and I sat by some Piney Creekers today too. So that's great that the interest is there. A lot of the east side is still a little bit waiting on the city to build that last piece of their ring, which is the eastern part of the fiber ring. That will take a little bit more time, and then we will get out east, I promise. I don't know if that's a year from now or 2 years from now, but that's a great point. We'll work on that map. But a lot of it has to do, too, why we started on the west side is the ring was completed, but yet that's where a majority of the pre-orders. And what Ting did is we set up a pre-order process where just to gauge interest, it's $9 to say, yes, I want Ting, or I'm very interested in Ting. It's totally refundable. So if you change your mind or you move, you get that $9 back. But it's really to gauge interest. And there's a lot of interest, a little bit more in the west and the east. But for sure, you're at least a year out. But we will get that map out and hopefully have a full-blown strategy on where we're building in Centennial. We do not have that yet. So
got time for one more question.
Thank you for that comment.
I have a question. In my condo community, they were built 20 years ago. And so now because of the construction, there's a lot of internet products that I can't have because it doesn't work, into the community. My question is, as you go forward, technology, rapidly changes. It rapidly gets faster. What's the longevity plan so that if you do a Ting and you do this, making sure that 20 years down the road, you're still able to adapt and evolve yourself?
Yeah, fantastic question. And I should have brought this up earlier, is one of the reasons why the Ting and the city feel so strongly about a fiber network is because it is future-proof. I mean, these bandwidths and these speeds, no matter what the technology is going to bring, is going to be 10, I even think 15 years as far as future-proof. I can't think of any technology out there that this bandwidth and this speed won't be able to support. So be patient, but don't worry about things changing where this fiber won't be able to support it. It will be able to support. And I think Brian had a quick comment too.
So just to give you an example from a future-proof standpoint. So today we're at 1 gigabit on the fiber, and the way the fiber is built, if we want to go to 10 gigabits or 100 gigabits, all we have to do is change the equipment on the end and change the light pattern. So as far as, nobody's using 100 gig today, we can't guarantee what's going to happen with that, but we can just change the light and go. And as of right now, the fiber has no limitations.
Maybe and maybe. How's that sound? Right. Thank you so much,
right,
guys.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
Big round of applause. Now, Mark, don't run off. We've got a couple of jobs for you.
Okay, great.
Well, the first thing we want to do is...
microphone for it?
Hold on to it. We want to hear what you're doing. So one of the things that we do is that we donate books in honor of our speakers. So we will put a book plate just like this in a book that's going to a charter school up in North Denver. So here's a copy of what it looks like. We also have a little legal lottery in the club. So we're going to have you pick the ticket.
As opposed to the illegal one, which is...
March Madness.
596.
and then read the last 3 digits.
Oh, I was going to say I was going to be brave and try to read the name. Okay. 6. 1.
Whatever.
6.
Go home.
Mr. Ernest. So now he gets to draw for the big pot. Hold it high, Mr. Livingston. He's a tall one. Thank you, Mike.
The guy who didn't have a happy button. Maybe you do now.
Yes. Okay. Thanks.
One.
Oh, clear. Aw.
Aw, don't be so sad.
Aw.
Thanks for doing business. Thank you.
Yeah. David? All righty. So would you all stand and join me for the 4-way test? For all we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Do good and have fun.